Just looking, I can see this game's gonna be a real page-turner. Created for the Epic Games Mega Jam, and it looked really interesting.
Just outside of the grand woods in the land of Perpetua, there lies a humble farmhouse surrounded by bountiful plains. This is the home of Avienna and her friend, Borbu. As the sun rises on this day, however, Avienna finds herself in a state of shock as her friend has grown nearly 10 times his size overnight. The creature and the girl have outgrown their humble homestead,
isn't that the plot of,
so they must travel across the land to reach a new home. Avienna and Borbu have rarely travelled far from their farmhouse in the past, and they know that they will have to face trials in their upcoming journey. They will need to climb to great heights, cross raging rapids, and potentially avoid dangerous creatures depending on the paths that they take.
Okay. Why is the rate at which it reads and the rate at which it, pops up is not the same? Isn't that the plot of
We will follow their journey as they travel across Perpetua in the hopes of reaching the town they've only heard rumours of, Harmonia. A brand new life awaits them, just as long as they can make the journey without any bumps in the road. The time has come now for Avienna and Borbu to start a new chapter. Their bags are packed, belongings accounted for, and it's time to say goodbye to their former home.
Okay. Can I talk, or is the story still going? This doesn't look good. There's some wolves down here. The Clifford, the big red dog, isn't that just he starts out really small and then they wake up and he's much, much bigger? We're blank to start, ready to start their journey.
We're ready to start their journey.
I don't know what the gameplay is going to be like.
But their stomachs rumble. The fruit from the trees knock them down and they tumble. Avienna approaches the trees to gather as much fruit as she can. Her furry friend, though, might have something to say about this plan.
To gather the fruit, decided she would act quickly. Chance to pick 2 fruit instead of 1. Speed increased. Chance for trees to drop more fruit. Is this a permanent speed increase? Because that's useful.
To gather the fruit, Avienna decided she would act quickly. There was so much fruit to be had in the forests of Perpetua. The tastiest fruits you could ever find. So tasty, in fact, that Avienna knew that she would have to make sure her friend would eat the fruit she knocked down from the trees. Borbu has quite
that's the problem.
These fruits and would never stop badgering her and asking for more. Avienna was going as fast as she could. She knew that they couldn't stay still, or the sun would be setting before they'd even start.
What's an interesting mechanic is as the story is told, more and more of the book fills up. And so trees and things will start to disappear. So you have a limited amount of time in each page before the words fill everything up. Grip, 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 grip. Fuck off, dude! How much fruit do you need? This is like a give and take situation. I feel like the more fruit would have been better.
Especially with Borbu growing at such a rapid rate. As fun as it was to enjoy playing with Borbu, she knew now that they had to move on. She looked down at her basket to count up her prize, holding her breath in anticipation. She wasn't certain she had enough. Avienna shook her head as she counted once again. This definitely wouldn't be enough to last them the full journey. Not with Borbu growing the way he was. Her friend looked back apologetically, and she smiled at him and told him not to worry. She knew that they now had to speed up their travels, or this whole thing would quickly unravel. Lucky for her, she knew that nearby there lies a quicker passage. Unfortunately, this requires crossing a river most savage.
Crossing a river, that's always a bad idea. Everyone knows crossing the river is how you die. Never played Oregon Trail where you turn your thing into a raft and then die horribly because it's the worst way to do it. They continued on their journey.
Avienna and Borbu
It's
continued
a little bit irritating
on
that
their
like everything doesn't match up.
Avienna knew that in order to reach Harmonia before nightfall,
So this is who I'm controlling. That's interesting.
Borbu suddenly motioned for her to climb atop him, and he took off with great haste. It seemed that the two would cross the river together.
Fruit trees. We could harvest more food.
To avoid any obstacles from the sudden stormy weather.
Borbu ran towards the river with a focus list affected by the river, resistant to whirlpools, able to break rocks. I think a fierce attitude will be useful because it looks like there's quite a lot of rocks.
Borbu
Sure.
ran towards the river with a fierce attitude as Avienna held on tightly. Avienna
I thought we were going to go up.
as Borbu began to wade into the river. He was doing the best he could at moving forwards and keeping afloat with his precious cargo. He spluttered slightly as some of the water got up his large nose.
Whoa,
Avienna
we're getting
rubbed
like
at
pulled
his fur
down.
and began encouraging him with support. Borbu was
We're
moving
here,
across
we're
the
good.
river at a good pace. Avienna could see a number of obstacles floating down the river. Logs, rocks, and other debris was threatening to collide with her friend and knock them off course, or worse. Avienna tried to let Borbu know if there was an obstacle in their path, and he would do his best to avoid them when he could.
Okay, we're across
He
the
was
river though.
diving and darting this way and that, but still
Would have been
making steady
smarter to
progress get across
pick
the
the
River
top.
Rapids. Avienna could almost see the lights of
Like
Harmonia
go from the top of the
and
river
hear
because I didn't know I was
bustle
going to
of the
get pulled
city,
down.
and she encouraged Borbu further. There wasn't too much of the crossing left, and they were almost there. She held tightly to her basket and noticed some of the few fruits they had left dropping into the river below. Borbu was starting to
Oh,
tire
come
of
on.
chasing
You had one
after
job.
and she could feel him growing that little more sluggish. They were so close now. Were they going to make it? Borbu's legs hit solid ground, and he collapsed as they left the river.
So I think like the river, they expected it to be a lot harder. That's why the story went on for so long.
She hopped down and praised Borbu. He deserved all of this glory. Harmonia is waiting, but this was the end of the pair's first story.
So like here, it's Borbu and he's fierce, and I wonder if as you go, you would like fill it up.